Like to welcome each and every individual to Voices of Integrity podcast for Coffee Connections. We're doing a debrief for the March 7th, 2026 Coffee Connection in Shipshewana, Indiana. So let's dive in. What are the wins?
Got at least 3 people there.
We had good topics.
Good topics.
There wasn't a lot of, I would say there wasn't a lot of lull in it.
Right. Like there was people who had joined seemed to really enjoy it. The people that were there seemed to enjoy it a lot. And so good. Other wins.
Anita not being there seemed to be fairly prepared and made sure everything that was out there that we needed.
Nice work, Anita. Nice work to cover you not being there. So excellent there. Good. What else?
Awesome food.
Right. Right.
No drama. And here Mark thought that, never mind.
Other wins.
People figuring out to be more clear.
What do you mean?
Clear communication.
So that clear communication white paper that could really use a facelift. That could really use some questions and stuff there. Big time. Good. What else?
The after, some things were discovered that needed to be taken care of.
Nice. Good. What else?
Everybody seemed to be more included. It wasn't the segregation for the guys, like everybody was just, was together.
Right. Yeah. Nice. What else? All right. Another is the debrief afterwards. So even though, like I'm not driving that forward, it's being driven forward. Elaine is driving that forward. And so what's really cool is not the people who are at the debrief. What's really cool is the people who aren't able to be at the debrief, on them listening to the debrief and then replying all to the debrief and what they thought about the debrief. Another was Katie being there. And so like she's doing taxes. How is she there? Like, how did she, like, is Compass going to survive or is it going to crash into the sea? Like, will it survive? And she added a lot by being there. We had workbooks for John and, Oak Grove and Compass was there. We have never done an interview like that. And I thought that both Nora and Luke did a great job on that. Another is we have a prototype. We have a prototype Like when walls of opportunities, when the walls of opportunities come up, over, under, left, right, blow it up, tear down, some way, somehow you're gonna make a breakthrough. Why are some people able to get through those and others are not? Like, why do some push through and others just don't? In the pickleball yesterday, there was an exercise where our Courtney went ahead and hit 10 balls, and you didn't have to go ahead and hit them back. You just had to hit them. And so she had specific exercises for consistency. She had specific exercises for something else. And then she had a specific exercise to where you're sure you're not going to get that ball. But she had this. So she's been playing tennis since she was a little girl. So she had tennis lessons. And when she just, as long as she can remember. And so that's one of the things that her coach taught her is when you don't think you can get something and you go for it, sometimes you can get it. So you don't ever just give up. You just go for it. And so it was fascinating. Another win was learning about police officer and the training that they go through and how that's interesting how that could be brought in. Harley reading the entire book, like in one sitting, that was really cool. The financial, freedom book. And he said there were specific things that were in there that he's like, wow, that makes a lot of sense. So got to find those out. So, it was awesome having Nora there. I wasn't thinking she was going to be there. So having her there, was fascinating to me and cool. Like that was her decision making process on that. I'm very intrigued with hearing that. All right, losses. What are things we could have done better?
Have more people there.
More people there.
So that's a result.
Make better phone calls.
So better quality of phone calls, good. Higher quantity of phone calls, that'll do it. Getting everybody to lock in on two people and bring two people, next month. So, because I know Luke's going to listen to this debrief, so Luke went ahead, and so the three things he's working on is consistency, consideration, and competence. So Luke said, hey, I think it was Luke that said, hey, everybody, who are two people you're going to bring? So consistency and consideration and competence, all three, he'll get all three of them. If he follows up, does he follow up on everybody? Maybe. Does he follow up on a key people to make sure everybody's followed up on? So in level basic and intermediate pickleball, the biggest challenge that people have in both of those is the application of what they learn. And so Harley's wife, she was sweet today. I just felt for both of them. Like it was just really cool. And so we taught people how to invite other people, biggest challenge, and tell me more, and then connect that into this. But they're going to have a hard time. They're going to have a hard time participating. People are going to have a hard time doing it. So it's just like any training, they need to apply it right away. So we need to call Monday, Tuesday, all of those people, and we need to go ahead and remind them, hey, remember what Mark said about getting people biggest challenge and then get that to where, hey, I think that topic is going to be talked about, or that topic will be talked about. We'll cover that. And so I definitely would be rather playing pickleball than being coached in pickleball. I don't really like the drills. I just want to play. So if I'm going to go ahead and get coaching, I'm going to get the most out of that coaching, like Harley's like, well, I'm going to get the most out of it. So how do we, so the four of us in the debrief, the live debrief. So we're like, how do you go ahead? I mean, how do we go ahead and how do we every week make sure that we go ahead and take the energy and getting more people there and make sure that we do our part, everybody who's listening to the rebroadcast does their part, and then other people do their part. Good. So what we do is Kenny had said before, on a habit, you attach it to something else. So you attach it to something else you're doing. So if you're doing something consistently, if you're if you're doing something consistently, um, then you attach it to what you're doing consistently, and you're more likely to do it. All right. What else? What other losses or things we could do better?
I think we need to figure out how to get the kids involved more. They're
Interesting.
the up and coming generation.
Any ideas on how to do that?
Maybe have the parents have them have a question that they have to ask at the coffee connection.
Okay.
Maybe
Nice.
they're given an assignment of distributing something or connecting with one adult other than their parents.
Nice. I like the idea. Nice. All right. Other things that we can improve, do better, then do the best. Okay. Next.
Having the interview is really cool. I think those could be used more for some of the topics too.
Yeah, both Nora and Luke did a good job in having questions. Like I was thinking about 20 minutes ago, I said, I don't know that I answered Nora's question as good as I would have liked to. Mean it. So, so it's a combination of the interviewer and then the people who are being interviewed. And so,
Right.
um, anything else next?
Well, if we get the biggest challenges early enough in the month, then we can assign them to a topic to them faster, so that maybe we can spread the word to the ones that haven't gotten there, haven't done.
So I've got in my iPhone. Oh shoot, Nora, we didn't do that. Sorry. Sure. I wanted to show you my system on my iPhone on organization. So I've got an organization system in my iPhone, and I've got A, B, and C prospects. I've got level 4 friends. I've got Action Vision clients. I've got past Action Vision clients. Now I'll have coffee connections. So who am I going to move along, in the coffee connection? And so the challenge, the challenge is how, in most organizations, 10% of the people do 90% of the work. Like Nora, on consistency, there could be a strong argument that of anybody, you would have not been at the coffee connection, and you wouldn't like being here. So why did you go to coffee connection today, and why are you on this?
Because we're a team.
So on the way home, we were talking, and I said, I'd like to ask people, do you think? Like when you're working, do you think? And then the conversation, I realized people think, but they don't think like I think. So, have you ever been part of a team before, Nora?
I'd say yeah.
What kind of a team?
I don't know, with like people I work with, like when I worked at the Blue Gate,
I see.
like all us bussers like work together or whatever. And then when I worked at the cabinet factory, like we had like a team of 3, and one of them wasn't there, then it sucks for the rest of them. So or it, I mean, you work through it obviously, but it's more work for the others.
I wish when Nora said what she said, I wish when other people heard that they heard what I heard.
What'd you hear?
What'd you hear?
I don't know how to put it into words.
Okay, if you can't put it into words, can you put it into how you felt when you heard what you heard?
I hurt.
Why?
Because I don't think we're a team. I don't think it means the same thing to other people as it does to Nora.
Is that because she worked with others that had a team?
I don't think so. I mean, I'm not saying no, but I mean, she's experienced it before, so that was cool. She had two experiences that were very quick. Um, so it's interesting on how, it's interesting on how when she said, like, I've never bussed, at a restaurant. Um, somebody would have said, Mark, have you ever been part of a team? I'd be like, I don't know. Maybe not. So, I mean, like, what is she? So you can just feel it in her voice. You can just feel. And then when she says, when somebody doesn't, somebody doesn't show up, it it's hard for, everybody else. So as a leader, I've never thought of that. In 40 plus years of leading, I've never thought, Mark, you suck at building teams. That that one piece, that one piece, um, if I could get people to hear what I heard with Nora's, what she shared, it would change everything. If I could just get them to hear what I heard, because when I heard something, there was not just a hearing of the words, but the energy and the heart and the passion and just everything. I just heard in her voice, just everything. And I'm like, yeah, that's wow. Like if people could understand what I understand about what she said, everything would change. Everything would change if people would just understand. Holy cow. So, in another 10 years, another 20 years, if somebody says, Mark, what's the most significant thing that's ever happened to your coffee connection? Well, I go back and say, well, 20 years ago, 15 years after I started Coffee Connection, right at the very end of a debrief, somebody said, because we're a team. Will that be the most significant thing that ever happened? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen in the next 20 years. I don't know. I mean, it touched my heart. Crazy. So next, it's like become a team, like Steve, Coach Ryan, the power of one. Nice. Anybody else have anything else?
I think this was a good debrief.
Right? So if Elaine wouldn't have pushed it,
Yep.
if she wouldn't have driven it, I wouldn't have pushed it. If Nora wasn't on, if she went ahead and said, I am so tired, I'm so exhausted. I mean, like if she would have taken the easy route out, I would not have. I'd have been fine if she wouldn't have showed up. I'd have been fine if I'd have been fine. I mean, I get an email at 3:10 in the morning from her. It's like keepers. And I hear her on the 6:30 call, and I'd have been fine. She's got a sick little one. She had a sick little one last night. I would have been fine if she wouldn't have showed up. I would have totally understood. Like it wouldn't have been, I was shocked when she was there. I'm like, I hope she's not pushing herself too much. Like, and so for her, like, like, it's just cool. It's just absolutely cool. I really want to figure out how to help people to learn to choose to make something significant. See, a lot of times significant things just happen. It's not planned. It's not like what Nora just shared. Like that wasn't planned. It wasn't choreographed. It was just spontaneous. So I wonder, like, there's so many significant things that have happened in my life. Like, it's crazy. I wonder if there's a lot more significant things that happen in my life that I don't even realize. And I wonder if the things that are significant in my life are only significant because I choose to make them significant. It's interesting. Anybody else have anything else? All right. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. Have a good weekend.